Okay, so today we continue with our class Women's Guide to Practical Halachah, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. Okay, this we at the very end of the book, very close to that. So it says topic today is positive commandments. Says in his introduction to Sefer Chafetz Chaim, the Chafetz Chaim enumerates 14 positive commandments one may violate when speaking or listening to Lashon Hara. The commandments most commonly transgressed are: remember what Hashem your God did to Miriam on the way when you were leaving Egypt. Right? That's one of the things that we must remember every day. Number 2, you shall love your fellow as yourself, as it says in Vayikra 19:18. Number 3, with righteousness shall you judge your fellow, Vayikra 19:15. So you have to give benefit of the doubt. In some cases you're not allowed to give benefit of the doubt. Number 4, you shall reprove your fellow, Vayikra 19:17, which includes the obligation to reprove one who is speaking Lashon Hara. So if somebody is doing something wrong, we have to tell him, right, to stop, or show him what exactly the person is doing wrong. Number 5, Hashem, your God, shall you fear. Okay, meaning that Hashem sees exactly what is going in a person's heart. So a person cannot say, no, that's not what I meant only good, but they misunderstand me. No, nobody misunderstood you. Hashem knows exactly what is going on in your heart. Number 6, distance yourself from a falsehood. Right. Number 7, you shall go in the ways of Hashem. The requirement to emulate the ways of Hashem. Okay. So, and it says the 7 remains commandments are found in Shmos. Okay, so they give the sources. Okay, we stop here. We continue with our main topic. The main topic of today is Birchas Hamazon. So we're talking about women. And we're going to add what halachas pertains to men. So it says there is an obligation to recite Birchas Hamazon after eating a bread meal. The source for this is a pasuk in the Torah that says, "Ve'achalta, ve'asavta, ve'savata, uvarechta." So that's English spelling, very nice. You shall eat and you shall be satiated, and you shall bless Hashem. It is therefore a mitzvah deraisa, the Torah obligation. So all of the, as we know, we have 7 laws from the rabbis, and one of the laws of the rabbis is make blessings before and after we eating food, and all of this blessing for enjoyments, right, in the same category. But here this so it's all of them are rabbinical. That's why we said when you're not sure if you made the blessing or not, you did not make the blessing. So as we finished last week, we finished Halachos For Brachos. So our sages teach us. So on one hand, you're not allowed to continue eating because maybe you did not make blessing. On the other hand, you are forbidden from making blessing. Why? Because maybe you already made the blessing. So, and since it's rabbinical, we go leniently and we try to fix the situation. Right, somehow. So how you can say you fix the situation? You can make the blessing on something else that would cover the food item that you already ate, but you end out if you made the blessing. That's it. But with Birchas Hamazon is different. It is biblical. So meaning even in a case of the doubt, they always have to go stringently. Continue. The Gemara states that the women are also obligated to Birchas Hamazon. However, the Gemara is unsure whether this is on deraisa level, mandated by the Torah, or midrabanan level, rabbinic decree. Since the pasuk continues by mentioning the good land, Eretz Israel, and women did not receive a portion in the land, perhaps this obligation is not deraisa for them. Additionally, the second bracha, Birchas Hamazon, mentioned bris milah and learning Torah. Two mitzvahs that specifically obligated by men excluded women. Okay, so it's very just interesting thing. So are women obligated to say Birchas Hamazon? 100%, yes. But here's the thing, right? I mean, if they ate, it does not matter. It's a biblical, rabbinical, you must say, right? But since there is a doubt, and our sages argue, so some say that it is a deraisa, meaning from the Torah, and they obligate it as much as men do, and others say no, it's actually rabbinic. Why is it rabbinic? Because it was not exactly for women. Why is that? Because in the first paragraph we say about the land. The land of Eretz Israel. So we thank Hashem for the land of Eretz Israel, and we know that women did not get the land in Eretz Israel, right? So everything went to men, meaning to their husband, to their fathers, and of course, if father gets the piece of land, he is supporting his daughters, or if she marries somebody, so she's been supported from the land of her husband. Right, so there is no problem, but women did not get the land. So if they did not get the land, so they're not obligated to thank. So I mean, if I did not get any like gifts, right? So why should who should I thank? For what? On one hand, right? And another hand, and another reason, we say that we also thank Hashem for bris milah and for learning of the Torah. Not with that we thank, but we mentioned bris milah and learning of the Torah. It's very interesting. So, and women, of course, they don't do bris milah. They're not obligated in the bris milah, even for their sons. I think they're not obligated. So father is obligated to do bris milah. Then, if he does not do, the court is obligated, and if not. If child grows up, so he himself is obligated after 13, right? But mother never obligated. And learning Torah, okay, formally, as we said, women are not obligated to learn Torah, but they are obligated to follow Torah and to follow commandments and observe the Torah. Okay, but there is no formal obligation as for men. Okay, so that's because of these two big reasons. Meaning that they did not get a piece of land and learning of the Torah and Milah. So let's put it in one as one reason. So there is a doubt whether the obligation is biblical or rabbinical. Do they have to say the blessing? Yes, but we're going to see in certain situations this play a big role, right? Whether it's biblical or rabbinical. Continue. Upon satiety. The Torah obligation to recite Birchas Hamazon is applicable only if one ate what is referred to kedei sivia, the amount sufficient for satiation. Once a person eats enough to personally feel satiated, then the obligation is midaraisa. As mentioned, this certainly applies to men and perhaps to women as well. Okay, so let's try to understand. So first we go back to original verse. The verse says, "And you will eat, and you will be satiated, and you will bless Hashem." That's original verse from the Chumash. So meaning that biblical obligation is when you're satiated, and that's why our sages came up with this this measurement of kazais. At 1 ounce, 28 grams, right? Why? As we explained in different class, so we said that's a minimum amount, so from which a person can feel any satiation. So this kizais. So meaning when you're going to eat and you will be satiated, then your obligation to say Birchas Hamazon is biblical. Okay. So for men, it's for sure. So and And plus to this, for example, a person ate kizayis of bread, and he ate a lot of other foods like chicken and meat and I don't know, like pasta, whatever, soups, I don't know, dips, whatever the person ate. Right, so all this also add to satiation. So it's not satiation is not going to come only from bread, but from the whole meal. Okay, so if person satiated, so the obligation to say Birchas Hamazon is biblical. Otherwise, it's not. But we're going to see. So so meaning what? That first doubt we have if women have to if they have to say Birchas Hamazon on a biblical level, right? Maybe on rabbinical, and even on and here is a second doubt if they did not eat to satiety, right? So they're still hungry. Okay, so continue. The word satiated means that the person feels the way one normally does when finishes a regular meal. Satiated. So regular meal. So meaning as we learn in our class Hilchot Diot, right, of Rambam. I think it's a fourth chapter about health and how one should conduct himself with the food, with other methods, right? So we said Rambam recommended to fill up your stomach only 2/3. That's it. So some people would not feel full on like when they eat only 2/3 of this, they like fill their stomach up to on the 2/3. Okay, but still that's a regular meal. According to the Torah law, the obligation applies only at the point when the one feels satiated. However, the Rabbanan, so meaning rabbis, instituted that one must recite Birchas Hamazon even if one ate only the amount of kizayis or more. Okay, so according to the Torah law, as we'll read from the verse, Hashem says, only when you satiated, bless me, right? So, but our sages say no. Even if you eat kizayis, which is 1 ounce, of course, it's minimum amount to get any satiation. Of course, we're not fully satiated, but we say still we're going to say Birchas Hamazon, right, to show our appreciation to Hashem. Okay, but it's rabbinical. So if you ate this kizayis and whatever we ate plus other foods, you satiated. We're talking about men and women for sure. Men also included. The obligation to say is biblical. If you're not satiated, the obligation to say is rabbinical. But you have to say anyway. Okay, continue. There is an exception. There is an extensive discussion in the Paskim regarding the ruling in the case where one ate just 1 kizayis of bread, but feels satiated because the many other foods that he ate, right? As example that we gave. Person eat like for example, sometimes people come and they have so many dishes at the table. They want to taste everything from everything, so they would eat only a small piece of bread, like minimum of the minimum requirement, right? So that's the discussion here. Person ate the minimum of bread, but all other foods. If this obligation considered midaraisa or midrabanan, meaning if it's from Torah or from rabbis, meaning that person ate only kizayis of bread and all other foods. Okay. Furthermore, if is there a difference if the other foods were eaten together with bread, right? Such as in a sandwich, or they were eaten separately from bread. Some maintain that the former is the deraisa, meaning in a sandwich, whereas the latter is only the rabbanan. So it's very interesting. So they even differentiate here. So if you eat in a sandwich meaning that you bite all of these foods at the same time, whatever we have in the sandwich. right? And the second example is, as we gave, you have a meal. So you eat a little piece of bread, kizayis. Then you eat soup and all other foods, right? So most of our rabbis say that according to the first scenario, when he ate kizayis of bread is a sandwich. I'm not sure. Like, it's a tiny sandwich, right? Okay. But the person is satiated is going to be midaraisa by the Torah, and otherwise it's going to be the Rabbanan. Okay. What is the practical difference between the obligation deraisa and the Rabbanan? That's what we're reading. Okay. You told me all of the cases. You confused me. So what should I do with the information, right? That's a good question. In either case, the Birchas Hamazon must be recited if one ate kizayis of bread and more. So that's okay. So all of this information is relevant only in case of the doubt. So if there is no doubt, so you must say it. No doubt meaning that you ate minimum kizayis of bread, so you must say Birchas Hamazon. And that doesn't matter because of the rabbinical or because of the biblical, does not make any difference. The practical difference is due to the rule of the halacha of Sefek deraisa lechumra, Sefek derabanan lekula. What does it mean? There is when one has a doubt in regard to obligation incumbent on him by the Torah law, then he must be strict. So everything, whatever we obligated to do by the Torah law, and you do not remember you did it, you did not do it, so you must repeat it for sure. But if it's only rabbinical, so if it's a doubt, so you're not obligated to do it. And that's why, as we learn in Halachos For Brachos and in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch also class, so sometimes you would do something, but since you're not sure if it's actually obligation, so you would say, for example, blessing without mentioning Hashem's name, without mentioning that His sovereignty, and sometimes you would do just without blessing. That's right. Okay. So why? Because of the doubts. Okay. However, if the obligation is rabbinic, he may be lenient. He or she may be lenient. It's for men and women. So if it's biblical obligation, we go stringently in case of the doubt. And if it's rabbinical, we go leniently in case of the doubt. Let us see how this rule applies in the case of Birchas Hamazon. Okay. So next section, case of a doubt. If one ate a bread meal, but isn't certain as to whether he recites Birchas Hamazon, what should one do? So some people say how is it possible you ate a meal and you do not remember say Birchas Hamazon? For sure it's possible. And when a person is under distress, something like going on in his or her life, somebody is sick, it's about this and that. So, it's very possible that person does not remember. And since many people, I would say, I know many people who know Birchas Hamazon by heart, and they would say it very fast. Maybe I don't know. They don't need a book, they don't need a siddur, they don't need a bencher. So for other people, for example, if somebody does not remember, okay, it's simple. Okay, so the book is still on a shelf, meaning what? I did not say blessing. But if a book is on a table, on a dinner table, so most likely I said maybe yes, maybe not, but at least you have some doubts. But people who know by heart, like that's a big issue. The answer depends on whether the obligation was a midaraisa or midrabanan. So here we go. So the person does not remember. Did she say Birchas Hamazon or did not? Or he said or not, right? Which in turn depends on whether or not he was satiated. Okay, here we go. So, okay. So the first condition that the person must understand, right, is whether he's satiated or she is satiated after the meal, yes or no. Since the halacha is in doubt regarding the deraisa, requiring one to be strict, he would recite Birchas Hamazon to ensure that the obligation was fulfilled. Right? So for man, for sure, he does not remember. There is no problem. Very good. Mr. Jew, you have to say Birchas Hamazon one more time, because next time you're going to remember. Okay, so but this time pay attention. However, one was not satiated and cannot recall whether he said Birchas Hamazon, he would not say it at that point. So meaning the person was not satiated. So I mean, this satiated question is also, it's a separate subject. Like satiated, if I ate only kizayis, only 1 ounce of bread, most likely I was not satiated, right? But if person ate other foods, so most likely he was satiated. Okay. Continue. For a man, the halacha is quite straightforward. It would simply depend on if he ate until he was satiated. So for man, if he satiated, it's a must. Even if we said if it's satiated with other foods. So we go to stringent opinion. However, if woman who is in doubt whether she recite Birchas Hamazon, there is a considerable debate among the poskim. Even if she was felt satiated, the Gemara is unsure whether the obligation applies to her on the Raisa level. Perhaps she should be lenient and not to say it. So for women, for women, if she does not remember if she said Birchas Hamazon, she does not, right? And even if she's satiated, so for man, if he does not remember, but he was satiated. I mean, he just look at the table and say, "Oh, I ate so much for sure. Maybe I don't. Now I am still hungry." Right? Maybe it's half an hour, 40 minutes, 1 hour later, but for sure, after eating all of these foods, for sure, I was satiated at that time. So for him, it's biblical. He must say it. But for a woman, even if she was satiated, as Gemara says, so there is doubt, even then, if her obligation is on a biblical level. Why? Because of these two doubts that we mentioned before. Because of she didn't get Lent and she's not obligated to learn Torah. Perhaps she should be lenient and not to say it. Okay. Additionally, there is a chance that she has already recited Birkat Hamazon, right? So doubt meaning that I do not remember. So if person did not say it, that's a different story. That's a different story. Then we must say it. If time did not pass. Okay, nevertheless, some poskim feel that if she desires to say Birchas Hamazon at that point, she may do so. So that's the bottom line. So since there is a doubt in our poskim, and she's satiated, right? So it's technically up to her. If she wants to say it, she may say it. There is no problem. But if she does not want to say it, also no problem. Okay, so one more time, she ate enough, right? Minimum kizayis, and she does not remember she said it or not, and she was satiated. Okay, so three conditions. So even in these 3 conditions, for men, that's for sure, must say it, but for a woman, maybe. Okay. So I would advise, my personal advice is just say it. For women also, say it. Okay. But as we said, there is a dissenting opinion that say you're not obligated. Okay. Any questions on what we said? Okay. If not, so we continue. Next topic is Shabbos meals. Additions and obligation. That's actually this Shabbos is going to be the longest. Just so you know, the Shabbos is going to be the longest Birchas Hamazon in a year ever. Right? Why? Because we're going to say the addition for Shabbos, and then we're going to say additions for Hanukkah. I apologize. First we say for Hanukkah, then we say for Shabbos. And then we say for a new month, for Rosh Chodesh. So the longest Birchas Hamazon. Very interesting. I think that they're going to take 3 Torahs out this Shabbos. Very interesting. Okay. So now as we learned in our Kitzur Shulchan Aruch class, in some cases when we say Birchas Hamazon and we skip, for example, this edition for Shabbos, so we must return for sure, or for holidays. So somebody were eating the holiday meal and did not say the Yaaleh, this edition for holiday, must return. Okay, so let's see what's the Halachah for women. Shabbos meal, additions and obligations. After each of the 3 meals on Shabbos, there a paragraph Ritzei is added to Birchas Hamazon. So Ritzei, and I don't remember how it's translated, but it's let it be or something. So I mean, so it's addition for Shabbos. Ritzei. The Gemara teaches that whenever something is added to Birchas Hamazon, and one forgot to say that paragraph, Birchas Hamazon must be repeated if it was meal in which one was obligated to eat bread. If there was no obligation to eat bread, but the person that decided to eat bread, Birchas Hamazon is not repeated. So let's start from the end, right? From the formula. So like if like standard Birchas Hamazon, you must say that's understandable. But then on some days there is some additions, right? So for example, on Hanukkah, we have addition for Birchas Hamazon. And on Shabbos there is addition, and on Rosh Chodesh there is addition. So the question is, like, if I forgot to add this addition, do I have to go back or not? That's the basic question. And the formula is very simple. If you're obligated to eat bread at that point, yes, and you forgot to do this addition, so you have to go back and say it, right? So the question would be, at what meals women are obligated to eat bread, right? So of course, in men as well. Okay, so let's see. Both men and women are obligated to eat bread at Friday night meal and a Shabbos day meal. Therefore, during Birchas Hamazon, the paragraph of Ritzei is not recited. Birchas Hamazon must be repeated. So it's very simple. On Shabbos, and same is on Yom Tov. So everybody, men and women, obligated to eat 2 meals at night and then during the day. Okay. So if somebody, like, since you're obligated to eat meal, and meal means bread first of all, and then all other foods, but all other foods are extra. So even if you ate like kibetza, 2 slices of bread, that should be enough. So I mean, you fulfill your obligation to eat your meal, no problem. Right? So okay, continue. So, but on third meal on Shabbos, you're not obligated to eat bread. Even though we said when we learned the laws of Shabbos, we said yes, men especially, even women, they should. Men yes, women should to eat bread, at least eat mizoinos, and at least eat cake, but most properly to eat bread. But as we said, there is no obligation. You can even eat fruit. I mean, if, for example, in the winter, when a person overate during the morning meal, and like especially in the winter, so if you finish, let's say 1 p.m. and now you have to eat next meal at 3 p.m. or 3:30, 4 p.m., that's a little hard. So the person, especially in the winter months, must be very careful, like eat a little less during the Shabbos meal, in the day meal. Why? So a person would have appetite for the next meal, for the third meal. Okay, continue. However, the Seuda Shlishis, the third Shabbos meal, there is a difference of the opinion as to what suffices to fulfill the requirement of the meal. There is must one eat a chamot, seafood, meaning a bread, or to fulfill the mitzvah of Seudah Shlishis. Therefore, since it is questionable obligation, one should not repeat Birchas Hamazon at Seudah Shlishis if Ritzei was inadvertently omitted. Okay, so that's a very straightforward ruling, since, as we said, not everybody agree that there is such a strict obligation to eat bread and a third meal of Shabbos. So even though, as we said, it's very advisable for men and women, right? But if not, so if somebody skip this addition for Shabbos, no problem. So they're not obligated to go back and say from the beginning. Continue. Adding Yaaleh v'yovo. Yaaleh v'yovo is added on to Birchas Hamazon on several occasions, including Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah, Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah. So during all of these holidays, we have to say Yaaleh v'yovo addition for holidays. So in our Siddur it comes, Siddur Bencher, it comes after Ritzei. After adding addition for Shabbos, comes this addition for holidays. The Gemara ruled that Ritzei applies here as well. If omitted Yaaleh v'yovo at the meals in which one is obligated to eat bread, Birchas Hamazon must be repeated. Right? So as we said, only on holidays, these two first meals on holidays. So the example would be, I'm not sure if they say, so on Hanukkah, right now is Hanukkah, so you're not obligated to eat meal. Okay, it's proper to eat meal and commendable to eat meal, but there is no obligation. So if somebody basically forgot the addition for Hanukkah, so they don't have to go back. I think they're not even allowed to go back. So even if a person wants to say it voluntarily, I don't think they're allowed. Same is actually with Rosh Chodesh. Not obligated to eat meal. Even though they say it's proper, but not obligated. On Rosh Chodesh, although it is a mitzvah to eat special foods in honor of the day, here we go, it is not obligation. Therefore, if one decided to eat bread, but forgets to insert Yaaleh v'yovo, this addition for holidays, Birchas Hamazon is not repeated. That's it. So why? Because there is no obligation. Same for Purim. On days of Yom Tov, there is an obligation for a man to eat bread for 2 meals. Therefore, if man forgets to insert Yaaleh v'yovo into Birchas Hamazon on those 2 meals, Birchas Hamazon is repeated. Ooh, so here we go. So this stringency is on to eat bread on Yom Tov is only for men. Let's see. There is some uncertainty among the poskim whether a woman is obligated to eat the 2 Yom Tov meals. Therefore, although she should certainly eat bread for 2 meals, if she does not, if she does and forgets Yaaleh v'yovo in Birchas Hamazon, she should not repeat it. So here's the big leniencies for women. We're going to explain right now. The exception is on the night of Pesach, Seder. Since a woman is obligated to eat matzah, if she forgets Yaaleh v'yovo, she must repeat Birchas Hamazon. Very interesting. Okay, so you see this author. I mean, I'm not sure how much time he spent, but he compiled all of the halacha, all those different situations. I would not think of Pesach, right? But it's 100% shown. So since there is an uncertainty for women if they are obligated to eat bread on holidays, on all of the holidays, so if they forgot this Yaaleh v'yovo, I mean, if this holiday edition, that's it. They're not obligated to repeat Birchas Hamazon. It's very interesting. But so what is the exception is Seder, Pesach Seder. So on Seder, everybody is obligated, men and women and children and everybody obligated to eat matzah. So if she forgot to say Birchas Hamazon, if she forgot to say Yaaleh v'yovo for on Pesach night, right? So she must go back. But usually, I think it's a good idea to recite all of this blessing from Pesach Haggadah. In all of, I think in all, I didn't see all of the Haggadahs, but in all of Haggadahs that I saw, at the end of this book, they have Birchas Hamazon. So, and if you just read whatever it says, they have all of the correct additions. You don't have to like think twice if should I say it, should I not say it. Of course, if it's Shabbos, not Shabbos, you say it or not say it. But all other things are included in there. So don't use your regular siddur. It could be a problem with if you have like crumbs on the siddur or your regular bencher. But read Birchas Hamazon from Haggadah, and you're not going to make mistake. That's the thing. But otherwise, one more time, for women, if they forgot during the holidays to say during the two meals of holidays at night and in the morning, if they forgot to say this Yaaleh, this addition, they not obligated to go back. Men obligated to go and start from the beginning. Continue on Chol Moed. On the days of Chol Moed, there is a mitzvah to have a bread or matzah meal, once for a nighttime meal and once by day. However, there is no full obligation to have bread meal. Therefore, if one does eat bread and recite Birchas Hamazon, but forgets Yaaleh in Birchas Hamazon, is not repeated. So Chol Moed is those intermediate days on Pesach and Sukkot. So even though it's proper, especially in Sukkot, I sit in the sukkah at night, right? When every night of the Sukkot, we have to invite a ushpizin, a guest, a heavenly guest, right? Avram Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, right? All of these guests, David HaMelech, Aaron, right? Seven guests you have to invite, and you invite them for a bread meal, not for a few crackers, of course, right? And a glass of water, right? So even though it is proper to eat bread meal, at least, so in my family we try to eat at least once on Chol Moed at night, in order to like official meal to invite guests and everything. Okay, but if one forgot to say this addition for Yaaleh for holidays, not obligated to repeat Birchas Hamazon, and it goes for men and women. So here, men also get some leniency. Why? Again, because there is no strict obligation. Continue. In case of a doubt, whenever one is in doubt whether she said, let's say it's addition for Shabbos, or Yaaleh is addition for Yom Tov, we assume that she did not say it. Therefore, it is a situation where, if omitted, Birchas Hamazon would have to be repeated. One must do so. Okay, so that's a very interesting formula. Also, it applies to men and women, both the same. So if you don't remember, if you said something like that is said just occasionally, so most likely, guess what? You did not say it, because people. The creature of habit, right? So whatever you got used to, sometimes like I mean, unfortunately, it happens even to me. So I pray, and I say all of the text, and then I say, where am I? And I'm actually on the next page. So I mean, it's unfortunate. So you remember the text, so you continue praying, but you forgot to turn the page. So all of these things I did not skip. But if something like new, like for example for Hanukkah, if you don't remember specifically like that you included, for sure you did not, or not for sure, most likely you did not. So same with men and women. So for women, if they do not remember whether they say it or not, so we count as they did not say it. So they just finished and do not remember. So in case of obligation, as we said on Shabbos, 2 meals, have to go back. But on Yom Tov, women do not go back, and that's it. On all other occasions, also they do not go back if they forgot to insert something. Okay. Continue. Yom Tov on Shabbos. So now on Yom Tov for Shabbos, and as as we just said, so on this Shabbos, coming Shabbos, it's going to be Hanukkah, a Shabbos, and Rosh Chodesh. So we have to say all of the three things separately, right? I mean, not separately, all the three additions. But here we say when Yom Tov coincides with Shabbos. If Shabbos coincides with the Rosh Chodesh, like this current Shabbos, or Chol Hamoed, so Chol Hamoed we actually treat as, in this sense, as Yom Tov, right? I mean, addition for Yom Tov. Both Ritzei and Yaaleh V'Yova are added. If one forgets Yaaleh V'Yova, Birchas Hamazon is not repeated. Okay, so meaning what? So if she said, if she was saying Birchas Hamazon, and she said addition for Shabbos, but skip one for Yom Tov, so continue, so no, nothing like and finish, so no repetition. Even though it was a meal at which one is obligated to eat bread. Okay, since there is, because it is Shabbos and not because of the Rosh Chodesh or Chol Hamoed, there is no requirement to repeat Birchas Hamazon. So meaning what? So this is a simple situation. So as we said before, on Rosh Chodesh, on Chol Hamoed, we're not obligated to eat bread. So if we did not mention Rosh Chodesh or Chol Hamoed in our Birchas Hamazon, but we did mention Shabbos, there is no problem. But if we do not mention Shabbos, that's the problem. Ritzei is said prior to Yaaleh V'Yova. Ritzei meaning in addition for Shabbos, Yaaleh V'Yova for Yom Tov. If one erroneously started Yaaleh V'Yova and realized that she must also say Ritzei, she should finish Yaaleh V'Yova and then add Ritzei. So even though first you say addition for Shabbos and then you say Yaaleh V'Yova, addition for Yom Tov, right, or Rosh Chodesh. So, but if you switch the places, there is no problem. After fact, there is no problem. Okay. So we finished that section. Any questions on what we said? Birchas Hamazon. No question? Okay. No problem. So let's start. We're not going to finish, but at least we start next subject. Next subject is Shehecheyanu. Okay, so let's start. On a new fruit. The blessing Shehecheyanu is recited on occasion of eating new fruit. The custom is to recite the blessing when eating the fruit, not when merely seeing it. The order to follow is the first to recite Shehecheyanu, then the blessing on the fruit, and then bite onto the fruit. So Shehecheyanu, okay. So I'm not going to comment. Let's continue reading and then I comment. The blessing is recited solely on a fruit that is available only in certain times of a year. However, with modern transportation and storage, many food items are available all year long. No blessing is recited on such fruit, even if the individual did not personally eat them that year. Moreover, if the fruits are available only at specialty stores for a higher price, the blessing is still not recited because they were, after all, available. Okay, so it's very interesting. So we say there's a blessing that we say Shehecheyanu, that we bless Hashem and thank Him that He gave us opportunity to live to this time and enjoy something, right? So I would say just say what on what we would say this blessing Shehecheyanu. So one of the blessing is the fruit. So fruit, new fruit of the season, another is clothing, another like a new house, and a baby is born. Okay, Okay, so first on the fruit. So in olden days, it was simple. For example, when we came to Israel, and it was very very surprising. Like some fruits, and we want to drink some juice, or I don't remember what we wanted. So and they said, no, it's out of season, right? Because there they don't import the fruit, or at least not import as much as, for example, in US. In US, you go now. Now is winter. You go strawberry. Yeah, it's strawberry at the prices where we live. Prices even cheaper than in the summer. Than in the summer. Maybe they got it from South America. I don't know, from the different country with labor cheaper than in the summer for sure, right? So of course, I mean, so in olden days it was whatever we have in the season. So you have the strawberry once a year. So in the beginning of the season, so you would be able to say the blessing. But now, as he's saying, with all the transportation, you have everything available all around the year. So even like for example, I don't go to fancy schmancy store like a regular fruit store. So they have it even there, but in an expensive store they would have all the exotic fruits like star fruit, this fruit, that fruit from all of the islands. Right, so even on those, according to this opinion, you would not be able to say Shehecheyanu. Okay, but I mean, I'm not sure. But I think that these exotic fruits, I mean, we have to find out if they're always available, even on those islands. And there's no winter on these islands, so they have like all year round. Then yes, then there is no season. You would not be able to say the blessing. But otherwise, if it's even there only on season, so you would be able to say this blessing on the fruit. So the procedure is anyway, right? The procedure is, or you went somewhere and there is no fruit in where you live. So such a fruit, you've never seen such a fruit. Okay, so you would be able to say the blessing Shehecheyanu. It's on our siddur. And what? So first you say Shehecheyanu, then the blessing, and then you eat. And that's actually what we said yesterday, right? When we were lighting the candles, right, for Hanukkah. So the third blessing is Shehecheyanu. So the Shehecheyanu blessing we say before every holiday. The exception, I don't know, I cannot think of any exceptions right now, but women say separately when they light candles, and the men say separately when they do kiddush at first nights, right? So they also say Shehecheyanu, we thanking Hashem who gave us opportunity to live and celebrate. So okay, so first part we say on a new fruit, and second is on a clothing. Buy new clothing that brings a person a great sense of happiness also warrants a blessing of Shehecheyanu. Nowadays, clothing such as shirts, socks, and shoes are purchased often enough that they do not bring people a great feeling of joy, and therefore no blessing is made on them. So I mean, he's very interesting. He's very dismissive, but let's see. However, there are many items that poskim rule that warrant Shehecheyanu. For example, okay, but before we continue, I'm going to skip one thing because it's disgusting. So, but if this piece of clothing actually brings you joy, for example, I don't know, whatever you buy, like if this lady bought this special dress and it's very modest and she's very happy, so of course she can say a blessing. I'm not sure why he's so dismissive. Man, he got his suit and he got it checked and he got a coat, I don't know, like Shabbos coat. Of course he can say the blessing, unless the person is very rich and he has like 17 suits, right? Of course he's not going to appreciate this one. But normal people who have only like one Shabbos suit, and or she has a Shabbos dress and like some other dresses, for sure you can say the blessing. Okay, but let's see. Some example for men is new talis. Talis, I mean the big one in which you pray. But you see this talis, if you think about it, like it's not that expensive. It's cost less than a suit, less than other things. I'm talking about quality ones. Okay. Or Shtreimel. So somebody get this big Hasidic hat, or Shabbos hat. Also Shabbos hat. I mean, if you like money wise and availability wise, I'm not sure why he's speaking that. So whatever, if you have a like piece of clothing that you makes you very happy, that you're going to wear it. So of course. Okay. So and especially for women, whatever makes a woman happy, new blouse, new skirt, or whatever is it. So if it makes you very happy, she's allowed to say Shehecheyanu for sure. The common practice is to recite the blessing when wearing a new item for the first time, rather than the time of the purchase. If Shehecheyanu was not recited the first time wearing, it may still be said on a second wearing. Okay. So it's proper, of course, as we discussed before, proper to wear first time this all of these new items on Shabbos and say, or Yom Tov say it should be Lakovet Shabbos or Lakovet Yom Tov in respect of Shabbos and Lakovet Yom Tov, and it says how sage is saying Talmud Rosh Hashanah, right? So whatever parnasa a person is supposed to get is calculated on Rosh Hashanah, right? But whatever expenses he is going to incur on Shabbos and Yom Tov, it's extra, so you get reimbursement. So whatever you buy for honor of Shabbos and Yom Tov, you wear it the first time. Of course, it's you get a reimbursement. That's a little secret that everybody knows, I guess. I hope. Okay, that's what we do. So we wear on Shabbos and Yom Tov, and you're allowed to say Shehecheyanu. Whatever makes you happy, you're allowed to say Shehecheyanu. Right? So I have some students. They live in very poor countries, and they told me that his wife needed boots and not right like winter boots. So and they had to take a credit from the bank to buy these boots. That's how poor. Of course, she said Shehecheyanu on these boots. That's unbelievable. So that's so some spoiled people. Yeah, well, whatever they gave them, you give them, they're not happy. Okay. So 1 second. Time is okay. We have time. So let's do one more. So and when very important point. If a person forgets, if she puts this new blouse and she forgets to say Shehecheyanu, so there is he said only you can say a second wearing. Yeah, you can say second and third wearing, because if you still enjoy it. Okay, so continue. On new home, when a person builds a new house, the blessing Shehecheyanu is recited. Even when a person has a mortgage, the blessing is still recited. So mortgage is mortgage means that this item is not his or her 100%, right? So I don't know, meaning what the bank can come and just expropriate because Chas v'Shalom person defaulted and could not pay mortgage, right? But still we say it. So because of course this can happen with any person, it can happen, but in majority of time it's not happening. Continue. When happiness is shared by two or more people, the blessing Hatov Hametiv, who is good and does good, right, is recited in the place of Shehecheyanu. Therefore, when a house is purchased or built for a family or two, or more people, this blessing is recited. The appropriate blessing should be recited when the mezuzahs are put up, since only then it is a house fit to be occupied. Okay, so let's explain what it says here. So on house we do say. So Shehecheyanu, when we say Shehecheyanu, it's only like individual. So who gave me opportunity to live to this day, right? Mostly individual, right? But another blessing, Hatov Hametiv, it's actually when everybody benefits. So if I bought myself a new coat, so who is benefit? My children do not benefit. I mean, I benefit, or my wife does not benefit. I benefit. So I wear it. I enjoy the coat. But if you buy a new car, for example, a new house, right? So yeah, so now everybody is going to enjoy it. Everybody is going to use it. For sure, on the house, we say Hatov Hametiv. Okay, but very interesting addition. He said that it's proper to recite when install mezuzahs, even though the halacha is that maybe like you're allowed to live up to 30 days without mezuzahs. But since you bought the house, it is yours. It's not like you may be going out, like moving out anytime soon. So it's proper to install mezuzahs even before you move to a new house or a new apartment, whatever. Even you rent the apartment. So of course, many times you have to ask permission, but many times you just do it and don't ask permission. Okay, that's my personal advice. Because if you start asking permission, they say no, you're going to make a holes and stuff like that. So when you do it and they see the holes, maybe they're going to be quiet, and maybe they're going to mention. So you say, I'm going to fix it and paint over. Just give me the paint, and it's not the big deal to fix it when you're moving out. There is not a big deal. So, but if you start asking, can I say put mezuzah? They would say no. We had a few cases like this anti-Semitic landlords. Okay, so continue. If additional floor is added to existing house, the appropriate blessing is recited, depending on how many people benefit from renovation. So, if you add only one room and it's only for one person, yeah. So this person say Shehecheyanu, right? But if it's going to be a kid's room, right? So okay, so if they say Hatov Hametiv. So Shehecheyanu for one person, it's to simplify, right? Hatov Hametiv for multiple people. Some poskim maintain that this is true even if only one room is added. Yeah, but okay, sure. One or more people who rent the house together do not recite either of these blessings, since they do not own the house. Okay, I'm not sure why would it enter their mind. I mean, to say the blessing, yeah, but they do not, because it's not theirs. So, right. So if we had doubt in the case of the mortgage whether or not to say it, so for sure, if somebody is renting, they do not say it. Okay. So one more. On substantial items, when acquiring new items that give one's owner a great sense of happiness, the appropriate blessing to be said by a single individual is Shehecheyanu. Hatov Hametiv is said when more than one person rejoices. Some maintain that because we buy new items very often, not enough happiness is felt to warrant recited blessings. Others state that even today this would apply, as long as they truly bring the happiness. So whatever you buy, whatever makes you happy, right? So I mean, other people are never satisfied; they will complain. But for other people, I don't know, somebody bought whatever they bought. One may also rely on the latter opinion. Examples of such items may include a new car, a refrigerator, washing machine, air conditioner. Right. So, I mean, yeah. So some people never had the washing machine in their house, right? And they and they have to go somewhere to the laundromat to wash their clothes, and it's sometimes it's dirty, sometimes it's very dirty, sometimes there's strange people there. So of course, and now you were able to afford this new washing machine, and not even afford. I mean, maybe there was no room to install it, stuff like that. So yeah, for sure, you can say Shehecheyanu, all the things. It doesn't matter how big or small that make you happy. Okay, you got new computer after 25 years, right? So okay, we can stop here. Any questions on what we said? So we did not finish with Shehecheyanu. There is still Shehecheyanu Chatov Chametiv. It's a different long section. Okay, any questions? Any topic? Okay, so if no questions, so we can stop here. So happy Hanukkah. So today we lit 2 candles. Right, tomorrow is 3. Until tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem. Thank you and good night.